this computer. All right, simple to do. And if you got through the HTTP server 1, in theory, you can combine a to-do app with HTTP server 1 and include Psycop G2 and actually do like create a database and have some of your actions do like you can do a fetch to your localhost 9292 and like do some kind of data query if you got to that point. Like that's just like in theory you could do that. I was thinking about that the other day. So we have all the basics tools of the front end at our disposal. Let's put them to work by creating a to-do list. Create your HTML, CSS, JS files. Display a list of items that you need to do from your local storage. Get, remove, add these items. Create a form at the bottom of the list to add more things to your to-do list. Create the ability to check off lists or check off things from your to-do list. When you check things off, make sure that it has a strike through so that you know when you're already done. This will probably alter the data structure you have in your local storage. Style it using Bootstrapped for any or for in addition to vanilla CSS. So I wanted to create, so for mine, I just literally used Bootstrap for the entire thing just because I didn't want to write any vanilla CSS. So I was able to create multiple lists and also add things to it, like rake the leaves. One. There's some. So how did everyone, how was everyone's, what was like your data structure for your to-do list in your local storage?
I did a list of objects.
A list of objects.
And the object was the name of the task, and then true or false of whether or not it was done.
So a list. So it was like an array, right, of objects.
Yeah, array of objects, and then each object had two values. One value was for the text of the task.
So like task, and then the other one was a Boolean.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's definitely one way to do it. That's actually a really. So it was an object. So the task was the key.
Yeah, so task, and then it would be like, I don't know, cut hair or something like that. And then the next key was done. And then you get.
Oh, okay. So task name. So something like done. This was like true, right?
Right.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I wanted an array so I could keep the order.
Yep, makes sense. That's pretty much what I did. Yeah, hold on. So mine was, since I had multiple lists, I just had an array of objects where an object was a single list and where the key was the name of the list and then the value was an array of an actual array of the items. And whether or not I actually stored whether or not they're strike through in vanilla Java or vanilla HTML. I actually stored the HTML in the string or in the array. But I like this one. I probably should have done that one. But this is just where I initially went to because I was with the strike through. I didn't know how to do that right away. I could have just altered my CSS, but I didn't want to do any vanilla CSS manipulation. Cool.
Are you still open for other ideas of how someone else may have done it or no?
Yeah. Does anybody did you guys push so I've got 5 pull requests. So I'm going to actually just clone these, open them up, and we can talk through them like that. All right, CD. Cool. So this is Dan's, right? Daniel's.
Yes, I managed to get it to using the grid, so that way it'll adjust the size of the openings. But basically, the whole concept is you could add something to the pending completion, and that's basically your to-do list. And then if you put the same item in there and you hit add/remove, it'll move it from pending to completion, and it'll cross it out. And if you try to add the same item again, I just, at one point it was actually doing it so many times. I just put in a logic in there so you can't complete the same task. If you wanted to throw a first in there after you completed it, you'd hit start over. But yeah, the data structure I used was a list, one for pending, one for completed, and then in the HTML, as it passed through, basically all the list items that would be filled in from the completed had the strike through. So.
All right, so if I went local storage, so completed, pending. So you had two things, the completed, right? And then a pending, right? Nice.
Yes.
Cool. And there, but you couldn't mark these off, right?
You couldn't add the same task if you already completed it. Yeah.
Right. All right. Nice. And you use the grid. Nice. So anybody else? Let's see what others people. Trying to look at other people. Julian's. Index. To do done.
It should have a. It should have an input box there.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I just need to load. Oh, nice. Cool. And you use Bootstrap?
I use Bootstrap. You can type in the text box and hit enter and it'll work. You can edit the items directly. You can tick the little checkbox and it'll line through them.
Nice. You can edit it. Fifth element.
You can edit by pressing the button, or you could edit it just by typing directly in the list.
Okay. Nice. You delete. Complete all. Oh. What was the data structure? Let's see this. Storage.
They're just objects.
Okay.
Same thing Json did. It's just the index and then the name and then whether it's completed or not.
Why is this showing up?
Yeah, that's weird.
Huh. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Length of 7.
Because when you modify the list, it modifies local storage as you go.
Let's look at the sources. App.js. Oh, whoops. To-do list. Edit delete function. Nice. So you have a to-do list is an object where you have items, total completed, and then you have each key, add, edit, delete completed, delete all, which is a function that you can call.
Yeah, our methods on that one.
Yep.
To-do list object, which your idea is good about having multiple lists, so it actually would work with that.
Yeah. Nice. Oh. Oh, you actually create the HTML. It's great from here.
Yeah, it was after doing it with all of the, the DOM manipulation. It's like, well, like this part I could just put in the inner HTML directly. That'd be a lot faster.
Yeah. This is definitely the faster way. So this is literally just what Bootstrap, class button success. That's literally just a string of inner HTML. I did mine when I did mine, I did it so manually. I actually created all the elements and then like added to the child. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, because it was like that part's static. Like those 3 buttons at the bottom don't change. It's just whether I display them or not.
Right.
If you only have one item, you don't have the buttons.
Yep. So if you only have one item, there we go. Nice. Delete that. Cool. All right. I like the drop shadow. So let's go through this. We'll just do where is it? Open up a new tab.
So Tom, that was pretty freaking awesome. So I don't know about anybody else that makes my to-do look like kindergarten finger drawing. So, where should we be aspiring to be compared to what Julian just presented?
Well, in all fairness, a lot of this stuff isn't totally new to me. So be careful looking at me and then looking at yourself. I don't recommend doing that.
Yeah, I would just say like if you're able, so for example, if you're able to complete this let me, oh damn it, I wish I want to find it. Like if you're able to complete the static web page with all the like vanilla JavaScript or vanilla CS and the JavaScript to make it look somewhat like something like this, if like you should be good to go. Because if you understand like how to make it look like this, like using Bootstrap and incorporating vanilla JavaScript will make it a lot easier to make things look quote unquote sexy or pretty. But going forward, I would utilize Bootstrap or some other CSS framework that you're familiar with, or get familiar with Bootstrap, because at the end of the day, like when you're working on personal projects or in your group projects, especially when you're presenting them, like if your app doesn't look pretty, no one's gonna like appreciate what's actually going on underneath the hood on the back end or anything like that. So where you should be, like you shouldn't be necessarily specifically right here where Julian was right now, but definitely like continue working on like front end, continue like building out your to-do app, try to make it look a little more pretty, or work on the static web page to make it look similar to this. And then also over the course of your break, create a personal GitHub page, like your GitHub pages, create a personal site and try to emulate something that you've seen before that you know you like. Like personally, like when I would look at my like try to come up with a personal website, I would literally Google like best personal portfolio websites, web developer. And I would literally just go through all of them and be like, okay, this person's looks interesting. What is this? Oh crap, this is awesome. I wonder how they did all that. And I would try to like emulate or pick pieces of certain people's personal websites and try to incorporate it into mine.
So you don't go, oh crap, this is awesome, I need to pick a different career.
No, not at all.
That's what I tend to think.
Not at all. And then like these, just like, oh, this one's actually really cool, Matthew Williams. Anyway, but like this is all like obviously this person's probably like they know a lot of crap and they're either a freelance developer or, you know, have done this for years on years, but you can like pick and choose like, oh, this is kind of cool. I want to do like with about me with these icons of things I'm like competent in, like CSS, JavaScript, or Python or Django, like projects and like that. That's pretty in depth, but this might be also like some other a third party like Squarespace or something like that. But I would try to, when you're working on your personal site, just pick and choose certain things that you've seen before and try to just experiment. But I highly recommend using Bootstrap for apps or like Material UI or something like that. It does a lot of heavy lifting and you don't have to worry about spending hours doing vanilla CSS to try to make your button left like center or left align. All right. Anyone have any more questions? What are we going? Simple to do. CD. All right, where to go? Simple to do. Let me open up here. CD into desktop, Lima challenges. I'm gonna git clone this. Git clone. CD, simple to do, code open in my current browser. So there's nothing here just besides a README. So the first thing I'm gonna do is touch index.html and do app.js, or it can be index.js. I like to just do app because code index, code app. All right. I'm gonna bring that over here, get rid of. So I'm gonna do HTML boilerplate. Just use that. And then, let's see. It's code index.html. Just do H1. This is my to-do app. And then open this up. Oh, not code, open index HTML. Dang it. Desktop is denied. Challenges, simple to do. Bring that over here. This is my to-do app. I'm going to open up the console. This is where I like to keep it. So first thing I want to do is actually, I'm just in a local storage. Okay, local storage, there's nothing in here. First thing I'm going to do is go to Bootstrap. Is it Bootstrap? Nope, this is not it. Because I just want to use Bootstrap. So I'm going to use the CSS CDN. I'm going to put that up here, right there. I want to see if my log to do app. And now how do I, oh, it's already down here. So inside the script tag, I'm going to actually bring this up into the head. I'm going to import my app.js file right there. And if I go back to the web page and refresh, there's my to-do app. This is my to-do app. Cool. So notice how this already changed. That's because I added the style sheets CDN, the Bootstrap CDN. All right. So I'm going to look at some components in Bootstrap and see if there's anything that I want to use. Just kind of copy and paste navs. See, looks good. We don't need a drop down. That's nav bars. This looks this is kind of what I was using before. Yeah, this is what I want. Just this. So I'm gonna literally just copy this. Whoop. And place it into my CSS or into my HTML. I don't need the H1 anymore. Nav bar, to do. To do app, and here I've got the form already. I've got an input label. I don't like it to be search. I'm going to do text. I'm going to create grocery list. I don't know if I even need this. I'll just say submit. And then type submit, type search, create list, new list. Let's see what this looks like. Next, here's my to-do app. I refresh it. There we go. Is this color good? How do I change the background color of this? Is there a way that I can change the background color of navbar? Oh, right here. All right, that's kind of cool. All right, let's just do navbar light. So it goes like this. Navbar light, justify content. Put that here. So it's literally just navbar light. So it looks like I just have some inline styling inside the navbar. What just happened? Need to close that out. Index, cool. So when I click this button, I want to actually grab or create a list. Local storage, so nothing's right there. So in my app.js, I can do, how do I grab this how do I grab what's in the input when I submit that button? Do I have to give the ID, the button an ID? I create a list ID.
Yeah, if it's going to be the only button in the button class, then you don't need the ID, but ID would definitely help.
Yeah. So I input, so ID equals new list. I can say document.get element by ID, create list, and then I can do add event listener. I can do click, or is it on click or is it click?
Just click.
Click.
Find it there.
I think it's on click, but I
Is
could be
it?
wrong.
In
Let's see.
the event listener, it's click, but if you weren't going to add the event listener and you wanted to use the on-click method,
Oh,
the add event listener allows you to do multiple things in there, but if you're to use .onClick, then that can only be the only listener type item.
interesting. Okay. So if I replicated this and just did on click, there we go. So if I commented this one out, let's just see if it says clicked. Clicked. It's refreshing. I don't like that. or if I clicked, or if I added the event listener. See if the clicks comes back on.
Do you really need to use a form?
Yeah, you don't necessarily need to use a form.
Yeah, I didn't use a form. It's not submitting anywhere. It's just taking care of everything real time.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think I used a form either, but I'm just gonna leave it. So I've got this form, but it's refreshing every time, which I don't want. So in order to prevent that from happening, I'm gonna console log the event. I just want to see if anything comes up. Oh, something happened. I'm going to say debugger. So in JavaScript, in Python, they had the set trace, or there's different debugging tools. In JavaScript, if you just type debugger, it should come into here and just stop executing right now, like from here. So let's see if this actually works. So if I click here, see right here, it says paused in debugger. I can come over here into my console, and I can actually look at what these values look like. So event, I'm hovering over it. It's saying there's all these attributes on it. So it looks like I have an event.target. Interesting. This target, where'd it go? Target. It's got a lot of stuff in it. Value is an empty string. All right. Event.target. Scroll up. Interesting. Okay. And then in order to resume operations, I can just click this play button where it says pause and debugger there, and that just continues through the operation. It's a good way to debug. So how to prevent HTML form reloading page. So stop from refreshing page, Stack Overflow. All right. Oh, I don't know why it went all the way down there. Whenever I see these $signs, I'm like, nope. Oh, you can prevent the form. Why is it going down? By doing submit default. Oh, crap, my event.prevent default. So if I do event.prevent default, see if that works. So it's taking in a condition event. I'm doing event.prevent default, and I'm invoking it. And let's see because I want this click to stay inside the console and not disappear. All right. Cool, there it goes. Clicked. Awesome. All right, so I want to create a new list. All right, so I'm creating a new list. Now I want to access local storage. So I can do local storage dot, what do I want to do? How do I want to store this? Do I want to store it? Let's just create one list. I don't want to create multiple lists. What's the best way? It should just be a list followed by an array of values, or a list of dictionaries. Let's try to do an array of dictionaries. All right, so get item, and do set on. Up here, local storage. So I want to actually create the key in my local storage of lists. So local storage doesn't have anything in there. So I can do if local storage dot get item, if it has a thing of lists, then do something. Otherwise, create a local storage dot set item list and assign it to an empty array. Do I need to have that stringified? Or can I just be an empty value? Console log list already created. I just want to see if this works. There we go. So the first time I did it, local storage dot clear. So I'm going to clear this. So if I refresh this, nothing shows up, but if I refresh it again, their list already created. Local storage. And there's my lists, and it's an empty array. It's a string representation of an empty array. All right. So what do I need to do? I'll probably put this in a function at some point, but right now I'll just leave it every time it loads. Local storage. Do I need to create any global variables to access throughout the application? So every time the list loads, or every time the page loads, I actually want to grab all the elements inside the list and convert it to, instead of having it be a string representation, I want it to be actually JavaScript. Like so. So lists already exists. So I'm going to create let lists equal, I'm just going to create a global variable called lists. And I can say local storage dot get item dot lists and do what is it? JSON dot parse and assign that let lists, well, to lists. All right. So what I'm doing here, so if the local storage.getItem has lists, if that keyword is created, I'm accessing that value, which is right now an empty string or a string representation of an empty array. I'm parsing that and turning it into an actual JavaScript syntax so I can actually use the lists throughout my global app.js file. So I'm just gonna, I can actually console log lists here just to show you. So if I refresh it, there's app at line 8 right here. But if I actually just do local storage.getItem lists, whoop, spelled item wrong. It's a string representation. Mine I'm doing just get item, but when I'm parsing it by passing it into this JSON.parse method, it turns it into JavaScript syntax in which I can actually utilize. So in order to create a list, I can let new list equal, I'm going to create a name. And I don't even need the name of the list. So I can just actually pass in. Oh yeah, I'm just creating to-dos. I'm not creating names of lists. Crap. So it's just an empty array. So in here, it would not be a new list. It'd just be new item or new item. Let me refactor this. Item. And instead of creating a new list, creating a new item. Create new item. And then the name of the item, it could be, how do I grab the value of what I'm typing into here? So I've got this, go ahead.
Dot value.
Dot value, so I can do document dot get element by ID. new, I don't like this new list. I don't like this create list. I'm gonna actually create a new item. Create item. I gotta go take out the garbage. And so this create item, I gotta change instead of create list, because I'm creating items like a to-do. So I think this should work. New item dot value. Oh, when I initially create the item, completed, and it's initially false. So let's console log this new item when I add it. So I'm initially getting the element by ID, which is the button. I'm adding an event listener, like for an on-click event listener. Event prevent default prevents the document or the form from refreshing, automatically refreshing, because that's the default nature of a form. I'm creating a new item array or a list. I'm sorry, I'm creating a new item object, and in that object has a key of name, which is the name of the item I'm creating. So the name of the to-do by grabbing document.getElementById by ID, new item dot value, and the initial state of that is false. And now I'm console logging it down here. Let's see if this works. All right, item 1. Cool, there's item 1 is complete. Name item 1, completed false. Great. Yep.
You found there's like a basic, so you don't get into trouble with bringing it back out with JSON parse. So as long as you keep each item as an object, right? What's a good baseline JSON structure to work with?
Is for just in general?
Yeah, you don't, right? Because JSON parse, I'm assuming, right? I mean, it needs to be valid JSON. So what is kind of the baseline valid JSON look like?
So it looks just like a gigantic object. But like, as far as like the best practice, like you can literally convert anything into a string, like using the JSON, what is it? JSON, what's the built-in?
Stringify, and then you have parse.
Yeah, the string. So if you do JSON.stringify, like you convert any JSON data into like a stringified version of that JSON structure. So there isn't like a best practice of what structure it looks like, but it usually is a big object. It starts out at a big object, and that's pretty much what it is. It's just like a gigantic object with keys, and if there are values, if a key has a value of multiple items, it's usually an array. Yeah. I don't know if that answered your question.
It does, yeah, and a whole bit about that. Yeah, I forgot about. So values can also contain an array. Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So this is a JavaScript object right now, but now I actually have to convert it into a stringified version of that by doing let stringified item equals JSON.stringify, and then pass in that new item. And then let's see what I have to do. So we have a list that's an array. So now I can actually, so I'm just gonna lists. So it's an empty array. I can push that. Actually, nope, I should push that into it and then restringify the entire array again. So I'm actually not gonna stringify that. I'm going to list.push new item, and then stringify that. Should I assign that to a new variable? Stringified list equals list. Oh, and then JSON dot stringify like that. And then I can do local storage dot set item lists comma stringified list. See if this works. And then I can, yeah, that's all I'm going to do for right now. And just I want to baby steps. So take out the garbage. All right, nothing really happened. Local storage, lists 1. That doesn't look like anything that I want. I don't know what's going on there. So let's see what's going on. List.push item. Lists. So I can console my debugger. List.push is not a function. List.push is not a function. Whoop. I'm going to local storage clear. Whoop. Let updated list equals list.push new item. And then console log updated list. Do some debugging. Why is it 1? Console log lists. List up here, it's initially an empty array.
This is a guess, but that input item, is it, you're using dot value on an input field?
Oh.
Is that legit?
Oh,
This is where I have to start experimenting. So I don't know. That's
Yeah.
just,
let's see. I'm going to clear it. I'm going to refresh this. Can't read push of undefined. Oh, yeah, because there wasn't any list that was created. So app 19, what just changed? So lists. Oh, so this is a list. So that works, right?
console log the dot value call.
So right here is get element by ID, new item dot value. There we go. So here we have the list, and it's right. I wonder if I updated list, console log, stringify list. Huh. What's going on here? JSON.stringify.
Seems like it's just returning the length of the list.
Yeah, that's weird. True.
What does their example show for in that last web page you have up for So, yeah.
So right here, JSON.stringify. Is it see if that does anything.
Isn't it because stringify only works on objects, not arrays?
No, it'll work on arrays. That's how.
Yeah, so we got right here as an example.
Okay.
Where is it? Oh. Local storage dot clear. All right, yeah, that's sorry. Just check the local storage again. So list is an empty array. Stringified list. Of course, this would happen. So I'm going to refresh. I'm going to check out the local storage. All right, empty list. Huh. I'll check that out again. New. Let new item value. This is weird. I don't know why this would do anything, but
Really reaching here, but that script
that's weird. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, that I was just checking to make sure that script is deferred, and it is in line 15 of your index HTML.
Yeah. So if I refresh again. Can anybody see what's going on?
Is it because the push method returns the new length and not the new list?
Where is it? List.push.
Yeah, I think when you assign it right there, the return value of the
That's
push
probably it.
is what you want it to be.
So it's just that.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily returning the length. Well, I guess indirectly it is. It's returning the index that it got pushed to.
Yeah, I think that's actually it. I'm gonna clear that out. Oh, all right. Double check. There we go. List. Create new item. Thank you. Yep, that was it. We can move on. Actually, let's take. Do you guys want to keep going through this whole one?